Now that you mention it, do you think the Secret Service would jump in the way of the dog poop?
Oh my gosh.
So on January 14th, a protest arose after the cancellation of the Yiannopolous and Martin Shkreli event at the Silac, and protesters, along with Yiannopolous himself, gathered at the Memorial Union the very next day. And several people attending the event came wearing, the Make America Great Again hats and claimed to be protesting the university's restriction of their right to free speech. And protesters marched around campus and even reenacted the 2011 pepper spray incident with silly string that Yiannopolous himself provided. But the demonstrators felt that they didn't have the numbers to shut it down as they had done his event the night before. Right, and this speaks to the growing, or at least the different political opinions that we have here on campus and his event. But at least over 100 people showed up for his event on Sunday in the afternoon.
What I find interesting is that I don't remember, so let me know, but didn't he say that he doesn't like protest or he doesn't like doing that type of activism? I can't recall which article or where it was said, but I had thought he said he didn't like that, and so it's kind of interesting that he did that.
Yeah.
So
it allows him to play the victim, right, and say that, because typically when you think of protests, you think of disenfranchised people who don't have power or the right to free speech doing protest, right? But someone like Yiannopolous is he's wealthy, has power, he's the one going on tour around the country, not protesters at UC Davis. It's really interesting how he gets to be no, it's the university who's restricting my free speech, when it was really just a lot of people didn't want him to talk, right? The university was actually pretty much fine with him having a voice, right?
Yeah, and the thing is a lot of the buzz goes around that people were angry at the university for letting him speak in the first place. So where do we stand on that? What do you think?
Well, I think that something that a lot of people haven't talked about in the news is that there was another event that was occurring in opposition of his presence at Davis. And I think that's really important to discuss, because we're talking about this person who is getting funded to be at our campus, where this other event was funded, from what I know, from different organizations, grassroots organizations on campus. And so where is this line of who gets to be funded by the institution and who doesn't? And that's where I have a problem with him coming. If it was one thing I don't think he should be on campus ever, just due to what he believes in and what he preaches. But the way it went about, I think that was the worst part of it, for me at least.
Yeah, and let's just get the record straight, the kinds of things that he says, just in case you're wondering. So he's a major Islamophobe. He doesn't believe that Muslims should have rights. He also has problems with rape, and he is an apologist for rape. He's a transphobic person. He's overall, everything that he says pretty much comes out in one way or form as hate speech, right? So you have to ask yourself, should hate speech be given a platform?
Even though you could banter against it and everything.
Yeah, but still, it's should we even be letting people think that that's an opinion that they can have?
Especially in this time. I think we're forgetting, what is, today, Friday, what does this mean? To have someone a week before, come, it's kind of just a slap in the face,
yeah.
And so I think in that sense too, I don't know, but the institution, you need to get your stuff together. That's, I think, bottom line,
Yeah, especially I know that people do write letters to chancellors saying that they don't want him to be on campus. But yeah, he's here. He was here, so.
And we got those pretty sad emails being
oh yeah,
everybody should have the right to speak their mind or whatever. But it's what if they're full of hate and anger and they're just trying to hurt people?
At what cost?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's also been a lot of call for the ASUCD office and Senate to speak up about it, and I know we've heard mostly silence, although a lot of them have spoken about being a safe space. If anybody wants to come and talk to them, they're possible, but there is no concrete statement. So
why do you think that is?
I think people are just kind of not scared, but they're kind of just backing away to kind of avoid harassment, because the media is going really nuts about this right now, and like anything you post on social media are getting like really, it's a lot of hate banter back, not just from either side really. If you're on the left side or the right side, you're gonna get hate from either side. So I think right now we just all need to kind of, you know, take a step back, think about it, and try to be kind and be a little more civil. Because if you're just kind of hating one another, you'll never come into a consensus where you're kind of in the middle and just really talking about it and, hey, okay, this guy's not right. What's going on?
I think it's important, too, to think about to be neutral is to be complicit. And I think that's a great role that ASUCD takes on.
I have another question. Like, what is the relevance of the whole pepper spray thing?
You tell me, because, okay, so let's just recap real quick, because not every student here was around or watching TV in 2011. In fact, I was a sophomore in high school at the time, and the 2011 pepper spray incident happened during the Occupy protests here on campus in the Quad, where a police officer from the city of Davis was stationed on campus, which is kind of it's rare, but there was like a huge protest happening that day, and so you had this police officer who wasn't necessarily like trained to deal with student protest, and he saw a line of students that were sitting down in the Quad, and it was actually Chancellor Katehi who ordered the protesters be dispersed. And so the police officer took it into his own hands to apply pepper sprays to their face, right? And you got that amazing image of some dude just like pepper spraying innocent protesters, right? And so that became like national buzz, right? It became a meme. And then, you know, last year when the whole thing with Chancellor Katehi and her trying to erase it from the internet, you know, it just everything came back to light, right? And the internet remembered it, and it was all over the news again. And so, them Yiannopolous caring or trying to belittle this, it seems like people on the far right, I don't even know if I can call them that, because it might be disingenuous to people who are actually conservative, but they might think that student protests and protests for the 99%, the Occupy protest, might be an illegitimate one that we can ridicule and not take seriously, which in my opinion is a very dangerous sentiment, right? But yeah, that's the
I don't get it.
TLDR.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to see what happens in the next 4 years actually.
Excited is...
It's a loose term.
Yeah, that terrified, anxious, fearful, horrified.
Yeah. But anyway, at this time,
depressed,
I just hope that UC Davis really
sad.
steps up as a community and spread love, and I guess just be kind to each other, and don't bring Milo back. Come on.
I have friends who are, Republicans and voted for Trump or whatever, and they go here, and they're nice people. And just be friendly with them, and like every once in a while I can ask them about their political views, like, what do you think about this? Most of the time they'll agree with me that like Trump is kind of a buffoon, everybody sees it, don't worry, not everyone is blind. So just like be willing to have like free and friendly conversations about these things.
This week, we have another 30-second challenge where an anchor tries to answer as many questions within 30 seconds. This week's anchor is, drumroll please, Evelyn! So, can we have one anchor please set the timer?
I got it.
Thank you, Kevin. Okay, are you ready?
I guess. I hope. Here goes nothing.
I got your questions.
Ready, go.
Pants or shorts?
Pants.
Coho Silo.
Coho.
Favorite Disney movie?
Moana.
YouTube star.
20 seconds.
Donna Otto.
Okay, number one celebrity crush.
Emma Watson.
Go-to outfit.
Jeans and t-shirt.
Snapchat or Instagram?
10 seconds.
Snapchat.
Any crushes?
Crushes? No.
Phone or laptop?
5,
Laptop.
4,
TV or internet?
3,
Internet.
2,
Outside or inside?
Inside.
1.
Juice or soda?
That's it. No! Juice or soda, we'll never know!
Well, once again, this wraps up another episode of Aggie Now. I'm Sabrina Sanchez.
I'm Evelyn Sjafii.
I'm Kevin Dousa.
And I'm Tania Josephine. Thanks for watching! Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And our Facebook, and welcome our new anchor Evelyn, our new director Jacob.
Hi, team.
Season 4.
Woo!
Watch it.
Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Facebook, Snapchat,
No longer on
MySpace.
Snapchat. We're no longer on
MySpace.
Snapchat. MySpace.